20 things Europe does better than the US. Hi, I'm Susie from Prone to Wonder. We just spent 4 months in Europe and wanted to share these things with you. Number one is walkable cities. It was amazing and refreshing to just be able to walk in all of the cities, see all the beautiful hotels, go see all the sights, and didn't usually have to Uber, rent a car, taxi, or anything. Number two is public transportation. Every city had either buses, trains, underground, trams. They were pretty easy to figure out and easy to use. Number three, architecture. Just look at this. The buildings were built with such design and were beautiful. The history. They have got so much more history, and it was just evident in all the monuments and all of the cathedrals and everything we saw in the towns. Number five, it was so clean. In the cities and in the countryside, there was no litter. We were blown away by how clean it was. They do a lot of recycling, and somehow they just don't have litter anywhere. One day in Rome, we saw some litter, but other than that, so 99.9% of the time, we just saw beautiful, clean streets and rivers and everything. Number six is the coffee. Always try the local coffee. It was so much better than the US. It was always rich and tasted so good and was also less expensive than what we have in the US. And the coffee culture is just so relaxed and it was wonderful. Number seven is the food tasted better. At the cafes, at grocery stores, everywhere we went, the food just tasted better. Things were served more in season. There were more local specialties. Um, Things were more ripe when you got to eat them. It just tasted better. Where are you watching this video from? Please answer in the comments. 8. No tipping required. It was so refreshing to not have the mandatory 15% tip like we have in the US. If you want to give a tip, you can, but you're not expected to everywhere. And it's just nice. Sometimes there's an added service charge built into the ticket, but that's okay. Number 9, the tax was included in the prices. It is so nice to actually know what something costs. I wish we had that here in the US. Number 10 is they had smaller sizes at the grocery stores. Let me tell you what I mean by this. You could go and buy like a half loaf of bread. You could buy 6 eggs. All the boxes were smaller. The quantities were smaller. It was just so much nicer to be able to shop that way. Number 11, the windows. All of the windows that we saw were just built out of nice, high quality materials. They were so beautiful. Of course, the views were not bad either. They just build things to last, not like the cheap windows that we have in our houses. Number 12 is calm dogs. We saw dogs everywhere in restaurants and shops with no problems. When riding bikes, we didn't get chased or bit one time. It was pretty amazing. Number 13, the cities were closer together. It was so nice to just ride our bikes 10, 15 miles and we were in another town. So we could always get to another place that had a grocery store, a restaurant, coffee shop, bathroom. It was just easier to travel by bike from one town to another when they're closer together. And the countryside was always so beautiful. Number 14 is bikes. People rode bikes everywhere. It was so fun to see in so many, even downtown areas or countryside. People were riding bikes as their transportation. People didn't need to buy a car because they could either ride a bike or take public transportation. So that was super fun. Number 15 is bike lanes. And one other reason why riding bike was so fun is because there were bike lanes everywhere, especially in Switzerland and the Netherlands, but also in other countries like Italy and Belgium. One country that didn't have very many bike lanes was the UK, and that was a little hard, but the other countries were better. Number 16, Apple Pay and Tap to Pay was everywhere. It was so convenient to be able to go grocery stores, restaurants, or anywhere. You could always use Apple Pay or Tap to Pay if you had a card that was equipped with that. I wish we had that also in the US. And 17, the campgrounds were better in Europe. They were a little bit smaller than campgrounds that we saw in the US, but they were more like family-run campgrounds. They were very homey. They frequently had a coffee shop at the campground or a restaurant. They usually had a camp store. They sometimes had some activities. People were very friendly. They usually had a tent area. And I can say we were never turned away for camping in all of Europe except for in the UK. We were turned away in the UK for camping until we got a membership in a caravan club. Number 18, no bugs, no screens were needed. It was amazing traveling from April to August for 4 months. We went across 10 countries and we hardly ever saw flies, mosquitoes, bees, or anything. Number 19, everything is built to last. From the houses to the buildings to the cathedrals, monuments, everything is built with such better materials. Many things were hundreds and thousands of years old. It was just amazing. And number 20 is in Europe, we feel like we saw many happy and friendly people. We met so many nice people, more in the smaller towns and countryside than the big cities, but people everywhere were so friendly and helpful, especially when we made an effort to communicate with them in their language. It did seem like the people were more relaxed and they spent more time outdoors. Of course, we were there when the weather was mild, so it made that easier, but they were helpful and interesting. Okay, these are the 20 ways that we feel like Europe is better than the US. Do you agree? Please answer in the comments. Do you have any other things you have noticed about Europe that we missed? Would you like a video about ways that the US is better than Europe? If you want to stick around, watch this video. If you want to watch our whole Europe Bike Tour playlist, here it is. Remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.